Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trip Around the Multiverse with your host, the man who apparently is immune to getting hit by a car many times, Carl Charles, and
And I am John Wick and Professor Charles Xavier's greatest enemy, the staircase. D.Y. Chung.
Oh, that's not cool. And today we both recently literally just watched, well, not literally, but we watched John Wick Chapter 4, and we're gonna review and discuss it.
Yeah. It was an ending. I don't know if I expected it or didn't expect it, but it was kind of definitive. I put it that way. It was definitely an ending without giving stuff away.
But is it an ending?
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
But there was have you seen The Negotiator with Sam Jackson and another who shall not be named? Not Chris Benoit.
Have I? No, I don't think I have.
So have you seen the movie Shane? They talk about that movie in Logan, and they talk about that movie in Negotiator. And there's something where at the end of that movie where it's like, this or that according to the story, because it's up to the viewer watching it whether yeah. And I thought that's what was going to happen here, but it was a bit more okay, this happened, and then maybe not, but you know, the percentage of maybe not was very little.
Yeah, but the only reason why I think it isn't, well, and I'll say later on properly, because don't want to. This is the spoiler-free part, so we're not gonna go too spoilery. But overall, I thought it was a really good film. It was 2.5 hours of like entertainment in a good way. Like I didn't.
And but 2 hours and 45 minutes in total, because you got end credits and the scene at the end of the end credits as well.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there, and first of all, it doesn't feel lengthy, right? But your backside starts feeling a bit, I've been here for a while.
Yeah. But like, you don't feel like that while watching the actual, like with all the stuff that's going on in the film, you don't feel like, oh, this is dragging.
It's hectic and high paced, and it's got more and more of the same, but more.
Yes,
and I think at this point, John Wick does come across as start being super like some sort of mutant because of the amount of damage he can take.
Yeah, they kind of explain by like the clothing and stuff they wear, which takes absorption of things. So like, okay.
Oh well, vibranium clothing. Yeah,
they kind of explain it. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but still the bumps that he takes and stuff like that. You're like, I mean, the first movie started off kind of, I want to say realistically, but enough where you're like, all right, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
But then as they go along, he just gets more and more powerful. I don't know. Maybe his latent ability just kind of kicked in.
I think as the movies go on, he's like dreams for revenge are getting more and more, so that keeps him,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they can become a more action hero as they go along. But then again, that's what we're here for. So I'm not throwing any shade at the film.
Yeah.
I will say there must be a significant time that passed between part 3 and part 4.
Yeah, they kind of,
because he fell off the rooftop in part 3.
Yeah.
Took a front bump, and then at the beginning of this movie, he's okay enough. Yep.
Yeah.
So how would like personally? I think it's probably be maybe a year between that and that. For could be a couple of months or a couple of weeks.
I'll probably go between 6 months and a year. It's like the gap between that and the second and the other one.
Yeah, because it's only logical because of the amount of damage he took in the first 3 films, which took place in like 2 weeks, a month, not even. But the first 2 movies are like a week, right? Or maybe just back-to-back days.
I'll say like, you might be right, a week or back-to-back days, yeah.
And the third movie, he had to travel places, so let's just give it a couple of weeks and stuff, yeah. I mean, man's in like pristine condition, pristine enough condition, so. Yeah, it's got to be a long break to reheal. So I'm like, fair enough. And then all the crazy stuff he does later on, you're like, you had to take that time off, John.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought they were gonna they explore the lore a bit more.
Yeah.
But then I thought, oh, maybe if they do a part 5, that's what that's about. Maybe not though. Whatever, right? Whatever they decide to do, because they're going to do spin-offs and stuff like that. So maybe we'll get the lore of the High Table and whatever afterwards.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this film, they've got their backstory. They don't hold your hands. They're just like, this is the world we live in, right? We know what we're talking about, and we're giving enough of the audience to understand it, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to spoon feed them everything.
No.
Because if you're not part of it, you don't know anyways. So yeah.
But there's a lot in that film where, like, this world they live in, people were just wow. Cause like like lots of the gunfights in the street and stuff. People are like, oh, and just carrying on the day.
yeah. Oh my goodness, when we get to the club, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Exactly. They just say they either like, well, in the club you could just say they're super high and they don't know what's going on, right?
It's not like, it's even a bit in Paris, but it literally in the street, just like
yeah. That's what I was like. Yeah, I was like, well, okay, and then just people just looking around, but they just go back to eating their food because I'm like, well, you know what? If there was a gunfight going across from me down there, and there were a bunch of like people, this one guy's just murdering a whole bunch of people. I'm like, no, I didn't see nothing.
Yeah,
I do the same, you know.
I was like, wow, okay, I'll just leave. Like, okay, I'm gonna discreetly leave without people knowing.
Yes.
But no, people just
yeah. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the film. I thought Bill Pennywise here, Bill Skarsgård, he played a great despicable character that he was. He was there. He was there to be hated, and he did his job.
Yeah. Like, he seemed like you wanted him to die.
Yeah,
that's how he was. It was like, I can't wait for you to die because you're just a total dick.
Yeah. Donnie Yen in this film being blind. All right, you know. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I kind of thought I knew because he was in, he's gonna have some sort of gimmick, and then it was blind.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, even though I kind of seen this gimmick in Rogue One, but yeah, cool. This is different. Yeah.
Scott Adkins in it. I don't know if you recognised which character he played.
Big guy?
Yeah,
I thought so. Because remember you saying he was in it, and I was like, when he started doing the kicks, I was like, oh, that's Scott Adkins, isn't it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But you wouldn't have known. Like, I don't want to say, you wouldn't have known. But it's just one of the things. If you recognise him, you put it together.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you're like, wait a minute.
You're like, oh, this guy all of a sudden is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Spin kicks. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Him.
But this is basically as much action as you want and need. And sometimes you're like, okay, why do they need to do this to do that, right? But hey, it's just for another action scene. Fair enough.
Yeah. It was great.
And they go a lot. They travel a lot of places here. You know what they're saying? The initial cut was about 4 hours long.
Yeah, I heard about that. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then it kind of made sense. Well, that's what the beginning bit. I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because there seems not necessarily there's parts that cut out, but just be like, so we've gone from here to here to here to here, right? Yeah. Fair enough. But I wonder what the extra stuff is, because they were saying it's more world building stuff. I'm like, yes, you could have done with some backgrounds of some stuff going on that is happening here. But
I don't know if you do.
You know. Well, it's just some of the cases where you're like, right, they didn't mention any of this in the previous movies.
But with some films, when they start focusing way too much on backstory and stuff, that's when it, to me, kind of drags. Like, I don't really need all this, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess it depends if the additional cut stuff was either action scenes or story scenes. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so I think they were saying they were going to film 4 and 5 together.
Yeah.
But I can see why they didn't, because there's nowhere to split any of this.
No.
If this was meant to be 2 movies, there's not with the addition whatever scenes. There's kind of inconclusive stuff going on at a certain point where you reach about the half, you know, near enough where you think it might cut, like say 2 hours, or an hour and a half, or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's exactly. You couldn't really.
No.
You know. Because people, like, you would expect at least that in to wrap up somewhere. I mean, they could have done some stuff to do it, but they'd be reordering certain things.
Yeah, wouldn't have been as good, probably. Yeah.
But yeah. Well worth the watch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And time goes by, you don't expect it to be moving so quickly.
No, like I was saying, like literally, I was like, oh, okay, that was cool. Like the only time I kind of noticed there was not didn't notice it was long because I had to quick like my phone. Not my phone. I looked at my watch and I saw time. I was like, oh, it's that time already. Okay, I didn't notice it. Okay, cool. Let's just keep going.
All right. Yeah. So double thumbs up. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Great. Okay. Onto the spoilers, right?
Yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah. So our boy John Wick, after however many years, however many months, you want to say? Hey, look, my goodness! At the beginning of this movie, where he's punching the rope, whatever it is, right? The rope wall.
Yeah.
And the sound, the hit sounds were massive, man.
Yeah.
They were just booming. I was like, whoa. Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne coming in there with some spiel, you know, like he's talking with the beats of the thing punching.
Yeah,
I was like, all right,
sure.
Who's he talking to? Because he's walking down that rampway or whatever. It's just like, I'm just talking. Yeah,
I knew he was gonna be in it.
Yeah.
Oh, he was funny. I liked him.
Yeah. So he's like, John Wick goes to. Like, he gives John Wick a suit. He goes, like, he sets the pattern on fire for no reason whatsoever. But whatever, sometimes
it was like it when he let the floor on fire. I was like, this is weird. But then you saw like the canisters for like heat and stuff like the barrels. Okay, that kind of makes sense. That's the
But why? Why? Other than it looks cool.
Yeah, I was like,
okay. But then again, like this film, it does a balance between what looks cool and what is awesome. Like what is just visually awesome to see. And it's like it doesn't never go too over the top. He's just wrapped up with like not the practicality of it, but like that is good.
Yeah, like,
I'll allow it.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, sort of thing. Like I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So Jen, he gets his suit from the Bowery King.
Yeah.
And then he teleports over to Morocco, right on a black horse, killing these people that are dressed in white on white horses. All right. Okay.
Wasn't that before?
Was that before? I thought it was after.
I don't know. In my brain, it was before.
No.
Might be right.
No. I think he kills them. Then he goes to.
Japan, Osaka.
No. He kills the elder, one of their high table.
Yeah.
He kills the elder, so then he can go and kill the high table, which is like, all right. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the plan was. John Wick, but okay, all right.
Yeah, that's probably something to do with a bit that was cut. But,
because he was just there, and then he killed the guy. It was like the guy was like, essentially, look, you kill me, blah blah blah. Backstory and law, and John's like, I know, and he just kills him.
Yeah,
right?
Good. Guy was probably a weirdo anyway, so I was all right with it. It wasn't like a weird pointless death. I was like, he probably did something to deserve that. So
because that does set up the rest of not necessarily the rest of the story, but you understand why John did it. Like, it's like, well, I've got to from what happened at number 1, right, when his puppy got killed, and his car got stolen, and then he just escalated because everyone else
just wouldn't leave him alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's just like, you know what, I've got to this point, right? I'll do this, and then I'll deal with the rest of it that comes afterwards. Cause,
he's probably thinking, you're like, I'm probably not going to live that long anyway, so...
Well, no, I mean, like, when you're like, okay, logically not, well, maybe, but he's just like, look, if I do this, then the dominoes underneath will fall, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't.
Yeah. And he did. So, yeah, it was quite good that he killed as many people as he could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds really bad, but
Yeah. So we get our boy Clancy Brown.
Yeah, man, I love Clancy Brown.
Yeah, going to the Continental, and he's just like, "Yo, Winston. Yeah, this hotel, this entire whatever is they're gonna blow it up or whatever.
It's condemned because You betrayed the
high table.
Yeah.
You helped John Wick, and he's like, well, actually, I shot him.
Yeah.
So aren't I on your side? And they're like, yeah, well, you didn't kill him, so I guess you take the flak for that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah,
guess.
yeah. Well, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not your fault, right?
But
you didn't do the job anyways.
Yeah.
So, and you're the only person we can blame. It's just
yeah, it's like because we can't find John Wick, we'll blame you because it's probably easiest to because you're right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's just like when you call to complain about an airline or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you can't get to the person who did the whatever problem was, but you only talk to the receptionist, and you're like, all right. Well, not actually you, but generally people just have a go at whoever's on the phone. Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, you're like, I legit didn't do anything, but
yeah, exactly. It wasn't me that did it, but
yeah, you're the closest person to me. Someone.
Yeah. So they take him to the Marcus Vincent de Gamon, or
Yeah, that douche.
The Frenchman, as they call him.
Yeah,
because everyone has cool code names. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, and he just basically says, "Yo, Winston, you look, evacuate. You now you've had the hour to evacuate your hotel. Come and look out the window as I blow it up."
Yeah, I was like, that's super petty. Like that is dude.
Yeah. And then
he
says,
for you to die.
Yeah, he just like cuts. I don't even say he cuts a promo because there's like not necessarily no emotion behind it, no oomph. He's just like cold and heartless about it. Just well, you know how it is. Rules are rules, right?
Yeah.
Except I'm the big man on the table and I can do whatever I want,
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait. And then he kills the concierge.
Yeah. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. I was like, man. Yeah, and he's like, and you did this, by the way. You did this, Winston, as the manager of the Continental, because you didn't kill John Wick.
The worst thing about that, because Lance Reddick literally just died.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that kind of hurts even more, really.
Yeah. But the thing is, obviously, they'd already filmed it, and it's a key point in the film, so they can't really.
You can't change it out. No.
And it was a week, like you said, a week before, so it's not like they could re-edit the film. They're really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what's it called? They essentially blackmailed Donnie Yen, John Wick's friend. You just get law from people that are saying stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because how are they friends? We don't know. Whatever.
No.
Yeah. He's blind. Capable.
Yeah.
The Daredevil 3D radar sensor, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Other than a gimmick, right? It's like, okay, let's see how they use this.
Yeah. And they use it pretty well.
But yeah, they just say to him, "Oh, look, we know where your daughter is, right? So you kill John Wick for us, and we won't kill her." And he's like, "You're bastards."
Yeah. Like, I was out of the game, and they brought me back in. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, so are you telling me you could get out if you do whatever it is to get out, right? But we will decide if we pull you back in. What's the point in going out then?
Yeah.
If you got a marker, they could call you back. It's just kind of not necessarily it's pointless, but it's just like, so we make the rules and we don't have to follow them because we're at the top of the table. We're Vinnie Mac.
Yeah, basically. Well, it's weird people making these things up. So
I mean, they're rich, and they don't fear consequences because they are the game.
Yeah. Yes, certainly.
So like, okay, all right, okay, if you say so.
But I'm guessing he didn't get out the same way John Wick got out, because John Wick literally. They said they gave an impossible task and he actually did it. So, oh well, you did it, so I guess we have to.
Yeah, because we can't go back on our words.
Yeah.
Except they do it all the time, anyways.
Yeah, but I guess with certain things they don't, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They all decide the rules.
Yeah.
They do the Darth Vader. They all decide the rules, and you pray that they don't alter them further.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So Yeah, so he goes to Japan, and you were saying, I'll tag you in because you were saying that earlier.
Yeah, they go to... Well, we go to Osaka, Japan. I was like, oh, it's Osaka. They're not using Tokyo for once. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And we see... Oh, what's that guy? He's one of the greatest actors of all time, in my opinion.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Yeah, man, he's great. And we see his Continental, because he's the manager of the Osaka branch.
Yeah.
And just before that, we see a character who becomes more prominent later on, sign into the hotel, and what is his actual name? Not nobody.
Not nobody.
No, Koji. Yep, Koji's daughter Akira, who is conthanaire, whatever it is.
The receptionist.
Yeah, she's a receptionist, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you can't have a dog because it's an emotional support animal." So it's like, "All right, sure, you can have a dog." And then we see this dude, we don't know his name is yet, or he hasn't given an alias yet.
Yeah, but he is a hunter or a tracker or something like that. Yeah,
he has a gimmick. Yeah. And then he's looking for his little book, and you see a hand-drawn picture of John Wick. Okay, he's kind of tracked John Wick to Osaka, maybe, because we don't know at this point if he's there or not. And then Koji and Akira have a little talk about his plans for the week and stuff like that. And then he kind of says, that's when you find out there's father and daughter. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. And he goes up to the roof, and we see John Wick just standing there. He says, "Thank you, friend, for letting me stay here." He's like, "John, we're family."
Basically.
Yeah.
And then they don't explain no backstory of why they've been, friends or whatever. But we're just moving straight on.
I like that though.
Yeah. I think sometimes it works. Sometimes it's like why? Sometimes it isn't necessary. Because you can get across what you need to.
Yeah, because like
it'd be intriguing to know, but it's like, how did all these people become friends? But it's not necessary for this story to be told right now because it's not about it.
It's like Avengers.
Yeah.
And people keep going, "Oh, we see the backstory between Hawkeye and Black Widow." I'm like, not really. It's kind of better them just talking about this Budapest and never finding out where she is. Because I think once you find out, what's next?
And like you say in the Avengers, how when you watch the first Avengers movie, they basically just don't show you how people got their powers. Just a line of dialogue about how people got their powers, and that's that.
Yeah,
moving on.
That's what you need. And then, so they talk and they reminisce about good times, sort of.
Yeah.
And then this is when the High Table's henchman. Well, what's that French dude? Frenchy guy.
Yeah.
He sends his men to the Continental in Osaka.
The Marcus, you mean? Yep.
Yeah, the Marcus.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing someone's kind of hinting to them that John Wick's in.
Well, no, because Donnie Yen's character, I'll just call him Donnie Yen because I can remember. Oh, Kane, yep.
Wait, Kane.
Basically says, I have. They said, "Oh, do you have an idea what John Wick is?" And he goes, "Yeah. There's few people that John Wick trusts, and even less that he trusts with his life. So I do have an idea." Yeah. So it was guesswork, which just happened to be correct after the fact.
Yeah. We don't know how many other places they visited before this.
Yeah.
So they come to the Continental base. Said, "Yeah, we hear that John Wick's here, so you need to let us look through your whole hotel."
Yeah.
And Akira tries to stall him for a bit while getting a message to her dad, who's upstairs with John, saying, "Yeah, they're here looking for John." Well, they're here. We don't know why. Then she goes upstairs to talk to her dad, and then she sees John Wick. She's like, "You brought him here." He's like, "I didn't mean to."
Yes. And then the dad's like, "Get everyone out of the hotel, but discreetly."
Yeah.
And then when we get back to the lobby, everyone's just walking out of the hotel.
Yeah.
And the Marcus's henchmen are just like, "Yeah, surely. How non-suspicious is this?"
Yeah. Wow. That's... Okay, sure. Literally okay, that's not bait. Then Koji goes to talk to the main henchman of DeMarcus.
Yeah.
And he's like,
which, by the way, did he ever get a name? Because all just, like you're saying, he just seemed to me like just the main henchman, and he got the other minor henchman.
Yeah, he didn't have a name, which is really weird, which is kind of cool at the same time.
Yeah, because he was significant. What? Yeah. Well, didn't even call him. Didn't call him like the number one or, the side. I want to say the side guy, but the like at least a term for where his rank is. But anyways,
yeah. Wait, he does have a name.
Did he?
Yeah. Wait, I think. Let me just quickly check.
Oh, should we just call him the Master's main man? Right?
Oh, his name's Chidi. The right-hand man of Marcus. Yeah, cool.
I must have missed that.
No, I'm only seeing that because it says in Wikipedia. That's the only reason why I know it. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, well, you owe us, so we're looking through this. And Koji's like, I think not. Turns off the lights in the building. All these henchmen, all his his henchmen come.
Yeah.
Surround them with crossbows, bow and arrows, and get their swords out, which that's kind of stereotypically racist. But anyway.
And then ninja stars.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, I was like, that's kind of racist. But okay, sure, whatever. And then they have a little tussle. They all have a brawl in the reception area.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
I have to say something about this, though, is... So now the suits, okay. I thought they were bulletproof, bullet resistant, whatever. But now literally bullets are hitting them with sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. I know in the darkness you had to sanctify the bullets hit whatever. But actual sparks, like they just come like hitting the Iron Man armor. I don't know about that.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah. No, it visually looked cool, but it just didn't make sense that. The actual suits, the actual 3-piece suits are that dense, or metallic or whatever they are. But
there's some logic behind it.
But I do like that knives and bow and arrows still go through them.
Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
and then
and you're talking about stereotypically racist, right?
Yeah.
So Koji's walking his way to the back, and then he's got his sumo wrestler.
Yeah.
His Japanese sumo wrestler henchman as well, and they do 100-hand slaps and whatnot.
Yeah, that was pretty dope though. I love that part, I suppose. Yeah. And then this is halfway through that we see Kane.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Just in the background, like this is beneath me, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm just gonna eat my ramen.
Yeah, so
in the kitchen, taking the ramen that someone probably already prepared. I'm just gonna eat it. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, everyone's ran away, so
Yeah, exactly. The food's gonna go to waste.
Yeah. So then, Koji makes his way to the back of the room, and so does DeMarcus's first in charge henchman, and they get cornered by some of Koji's henchmen, and that's when he looks over and sees Kane eating some ramen. He's like, dude, you can do anything. He kind of waves it off, and then he's reminded that he owes the high table, so he puts down his ramen, and then he starts. He doesn't kill a lot of the henchmen, does he? Really?
Yeah.
He kind of
there's only 3 of them. So I think there's 3 of them. He kills at that point.
Yeah. The rest kind of just knocks out and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think he kills any of them. Like you're saying, he KOs a lot of them.
Yeah. Because obviously Koji's his friend, so he doesn't really know.
And then he gets a bit inventive by putting motion sensor doorbells.
Yeah, which is awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. So, whenever they go past, it rings. So he kind of, obviously, because he's hearing's better, because he's blind. So you kind of know where they are. So one guy walked past, he beats him up. Another guy walked past another one, and you know the deal. So
he kind of gauges where they will be.
Yeah, which is cool.
And I thought this was going to be like not necessarily a gimmick, but it was cool to use. But it was just like one of those things where when wrestlers set up the tables.
Yeah.
For later on.
Yeah.
I thought he's going to use it this way here, and then later on in the movie, he uses it in a more inventive way.
Yeah.
But they don't, he never comes back again, though, for some reason, so.
No. Which, one-time gimmick, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. I thought maybe he will have some more blind gimmicks, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but he didn't, did he? Really, no.
No. So he takes care of them, and like I rightly said, he's just kicking people and kneeing people, and very slightly cutting people.
Yeah.
No, he didn't pull out his sword yet, but he's just caning people with his actual cane, and no one dies there that he's dealing with, anyways, except for later on. Yeah. So while that's happening, Akira upstairs with John, because Koji said take care of her.
Yeah.
And she takes off her kimono and she's got battle arm underneath it, kind of. And you're like, right, okay, is she wear it all the time underneath that, just in case something goes a bit,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But her and John are having like a gunfight / grapple fights on the rooftop there.
Yeah.
And she's looking pretty good as well as she's doing this stuff.
Yeah, she's done.
I don't know how much of it was the actual lady and how much was stunt woman going in, but it all looked good. So they find. Oh my goodness! I think later on when she's there's another guy in a fat suit, not Scott Adkins, right? Another dude that she was fighting in a fat suit. I was like, oh my goodness. And he was getting shanked multiple times.
Yeah.
But I think I thought, is that where Scott Adkins is, right?
Mm.
But then it kind of set the table for when they fight when they fight Scott Adkins later on when he's fat, because it's just like, they've got more meat, so they're harder to kill.
Yeah,
this guy's crawling up the stairs and she's just shank everywhere in all parts of him, like shoulders, sides, and everything as he's going up that way.
Really, really felt sorry for him. But
yeah.
Oh, bless him.
And then was it so Koji saves her daughter, his daughter, and they basically say to Jong, look, you need to get out from this path to this path to this path, right? And John also, if you could, please just kill as many of them as possible on your way out. And he's like, 100%. And it goes into I don't want to say the museum armory kind of area.
Yeah, it was weird, but it looked cool.
Yeah. And then he's just fighting a whole bunch of dudes in white suits, right? Or grey suits or whatever.
Yeah.
And for some reason,
the armored guys as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The ones strange enough with the Tengu style masks as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Weird.
But all the people that are so the guys, the armored guys, the stuntmen, right? The blatant stuntmen, the interchangeable stuntmen, and then you got the guys in the suits which don't have face masks for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But they all have been taking their protein and their vitamins because they're all massive.
Yeah.
They all
juice.
yeah. So John Wick's got he's using nunchucks as well and everything like that. Using nunchucks as baseball bat at some points, which was quite fun.
Yeah.
But this is a quite cool fight scene as well. I think he's like, he's like, oh yeah, now I'm out of here. And then like Donnie Yen's like, nah, mate, John, are you still here? I'm gonna blind fight you somehow.
Yeah, but he does.
And then he just basically shows off all his skills, even though he's blind.
Yeah. I like how he hits things, like the Daredevil thing. Kind of hits things. I'm guessing he hears the vibrations of stuff, and then he'll start shooting that direction. I was like, that's pretty cool.
And then when I think they kind of go for the bigger guns, and literally, I think again they kind of behind. They're both doing the thing where they've rolled over to somewhere they can't see. Well, Donnie Yen can't see because he's blind.
Yeah.
But they're shooting, right? And then Donnie Yen's like, John decides he's like, all right, I'm out of bullets, but I'm not gonna move. And Donnie Yen's like,
yeah, let's go. John, you dead?
Yeah. While he's slowly walking over.
Yeah.
And John's like, I am actually just gonna play dead.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I thought he was going to hear him breathing, but I guess he's not that sensitive.
No.
Because John was actually trying to control his breathing. And and then when John, I think he saw a gun, it was rolled to the side and he crunched glass.
Yeah.
And then Donnie Yen's about to shoot him, and then the tracker just shoots away Donnie Yen's weapon, and then he he shoots at Donnie Yen, who then has to go hiding. And then John Wick looks up there, sees the guy, and then he's like, "Well, later, I don't want to do a runner."
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this where? What happens in between this bit?
This
is where Donnie Yen then goes to fight Koji. Oh no, I think John goes to the exit or something like that, right? And he fights a bunch of henchmen, and then Mr. Nobody. What's it called?
Yeah. He's leaving. Yeah, and the tracker guy. Yeah. Kind of saves him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he basically essentially he's just like, what's this guy's game? That he's allowing John Wick to live.
Because it kind of goes like, it's kind of confused me, but kind of gets into what his thing is like.
Yeah.
Because he shot the guy trying to kill John Wick, and he was like, "Oh, you're lucky we're sort of on the same side." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Then I guess kind of makes sense for later where he keeps trying to put the price of stuff. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But it's just like, what is this guy's game? What side is he? Where is he going? What's his direction?
Yeah.
Right now, is he a friend or a foe? Because no one knows. No one sees. Well, you haven't got enough information to know exactly what's what, which is kind of intriguing.
Yeah.
And then Kane, like Koji and his daughter, find their exit blocked by Kane. He's like, "Look, we're friends. We got backstory, even though we're not going to explain none of this backstory right now.
Yeah.
Look, you just tell me where John is. I'll let you both live. You know what I mean?" And he's like, no, I don't actually know what you mean, because I'm just going to fight you. And yeah, doesn't go well for Koji. Gets sliced. Yeah. Well, no, he gets sliced a couple of times, but they're not life threatening. And he just Donnie is like, look, you just tell me, and I'll let you go. And he's just like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. And so I think they have a little sword fight, little like. Ting ting ting, and Donnie basically steps back onto where the stairs are, because he obviously didn't realize they're there, and he trips over. Well, he trips back, and so when Koji comes out, he kind of he sticks his knife forward. It's like, yeah, that's circumstance. That's kind of bad situation, because he didn't know where he was. If he could take another couple of steps back, he could have probably just got out of it without killing the guy. Well, I was like, oh, that's good, because he didn't trip. It wasn't one of those things where you're like trying to protect anyone. It's just like, logically speaking, if you didn't realize the steps were there.
Yeah. As he is blind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool, nice. Yeah. So sticks his knife out, shanks Koji, and then he didn't even get the information he was after, anyways, right?
No.
But Koji's daughter is just about like, oh, right. Well, I'm gonna grab his knife and I'm gonna grab his sword and try to finish you right now. But just before she does that, she's about to grip it. Kane's like, don't do that. Don't do that. You can come after me later on. I'll be waiting for you. But right now you're just basically gonna die.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So she goes off. John's getting on the train.
Yeah,
because he's worked out where, like, people getting off that all the people in that particular carriage,
decided to get off.
Yeah. So either it was the last stop before it switched direction, or people just see John Wick, the Baba Yaga, bleeding, and they're like, yeah, later's kind of,
Yeah, or it's just Like, it could be a weird coincidence, but still, it's like, okay, that's a bit weird.
Yeah,
all right, sure.
And then Akira, the daughter, gets on the train as well.
Yeah.
Which is like, wait a minute. How come it took John so long to get from there to there?
And
you watched the sword fight.
Like yeah.
Plot reasons, right? Plot reasons.
Yeah.
To be fair, we'll just say he's gassed as well. He was tired. She's bleeding, but you can still run while you're hurt.
Yeah.
While if you're tired, if you run for ages and you got your cardio, even though at this point,
Yeah, maybe her adrenaline levels are still higher than his. That's why she's pretty quick. Who knows?
Yeah. And she basically says to him, look, Koji died, you're gonna have to kill Kane. Otherwise, I'll do it. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah,
I think John Wick said, it's like, nah, lady, you ain't able to kill that guy.
Yeah.
So I'll do it for you.
He's like, I'm gonna kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do it, John. Kill all of them at some point.
Yeah. So you kill half of the Japan, you can kill half of Paris, you killed half of New York already, you know?
Yeah. But we'll see. Yeah.
But yeah. So I think is this at this point the tracker goes to the tracker goes to the Marcus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where he's like, I know where John Wick is. I knew where John Wick is. I know where he is now. So,
yeah.
If you want to know where he is, you got to pay me 26 million plus pension or stuff. And the guy's like, oh, okay, sure. And then the guy puts his hand. Why does he put his hand on the?
Oh no, they shake hands. They shake hands on it.
That's it. But first, this is not Koji. Kane's like, you don't want to get involved in this.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. And the guy's like, nah, I can outsmart these guys because, I'm a nobody. And then that's what he tells me his name's Nobody.
Yeah.
But his logic's kind of silly because these guys have been in power for a reason because they're not dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And someone like you can't just come in and sort of make the rules. And they're smart than that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. That's why I was like, what is his backstory? Why is he doing this? Because it doesn't make a lot of not what he doesn't. He's like, all right, I'm going to come into this situation, know nothing about nothing, right? And just be like, I'm the smartest man in the room.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, no, dude. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And then
so go on, you were saying.
Yeah, so they shake hands, and then he pulls his hand down, stamps his hand. And then the guy's all crying, like, oh, this hurts. It's like, no, you don't say. You just got stabbed in your hand. But anyway. But then...
Yeah. Oh, and the dog is about to attack. And he's like, no, to the dog. Basically, they pulled out the guns and they're going to shoot down the dog as well. So.
Yeah. He's like, no. And then this is where Marcus makes him an offer. Like, what was it? What was he actually say? Something about people pull out the... Basically, if you pull out the knife, you're weak. Yeah. If you pull your hand through the knife, you're strong.
Yeah. Essentially, it's like, if you pull out the knife, you're doing it for yourself. But if you pull your hand through the knife, you're doing it for the team.
Yeah.
Some logic like that. You're like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, but so you're going to cause yourself unnecessary pain for no reason?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Other than some guys giving you the parameters, which are flexible depending on whatever he decides they are.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. And that's why King was like, yeah, don't play them games because their logic don't match what they say.
Exactly. Yeah. So then he pulls.
Oh, it reminds me of randomly of a scenario in Green Lantern. I'm not sure if you read the book.
No.
Sinestro, with his yellow ring, put Hal in a with the hangman's noose thing, right?
Yeah.
And Carl Rayner's like, okay, so you've got Sinestro's like, okay, you can save him,
yeah,
or you can catch me, right?
Yeah,
those are your options. And then Sinestro goes to fly away, right? Because Hal Jordan will die if he gets hung. And so obviously Carl decides to save Hal Jordan, and Hal Jordan's like, who trained you?
Yeah,
because if you cut the rope, I would have taken a bump on the floor, and you still had time to go after him.
To be fair though, no one really trained Carl Rayner. He'd made up.
No, yeah. But I was like, that's the logic that that's presented here. Is that he's giving you the options, right? But there are other options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not just the ones there, but poor guy.
Yeah. No. But anyways, back to you're saying.
Yeah. So then he pulls his hand through the knife, and Marcus shakes his hand to basically make a blood pact, don't they? Whatever.
Which, logically speaking, doesn't make sense to me if you've basically handicapped yourself and you need to use a gun.
Yeah.
You don't need nerve damage. Mm-hmm. Do on his other hand, okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe.
Not his shooting hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Silly. So yeah, and then the Marcus walks off and the deal's been made to 26 for Jonathan Wick.
Yeah. Yeah. So all the people in the assassin operators facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put up the bounty
for Jonathan Wick. Yeah.
And
then
John goes back to New York.
Yeah.
Meets Winston at the concierge's gravestone.
Wait,
area.
before that though, doesn't Lawrence Fishburne's character King meet Winston first?
Oh yeah. Sorry, yep.
Yeah, and he's like, I need to do John. He's like, well, I don't think John will see you after you show him off the building. And he's like, well, I had to, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I mean, I was put in a situation where I had to do that, but I didn't. Obviously, I wasn't going to kill him. Obviously.
Yeah, you're like,
yeah.
Doesn't seem obvious to me. But anyway,
yes.
And then
this man he's always got something like a game, a thing in the background, right?
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I need to see John.
Yeah.
I'm obviously you probably know where he is. Tonight to meet him.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, cool. So it's probably a couple of scenes before. So John's back in New York, and he goes to a moratorium. Are they called moratoriums?
Wherever it is, right?
Yeah, some weird like cemetery sort of place.
Yeah, I say weird because it looks so crisp and clean, and it's in the middle of somewhere that looks like quite expensive, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next to like, I'm pretty sure one of the rivers in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so John and Wesley have the meeting. He's like, this is where he tells John about for you to sort of get around the high table and stuff, you need to challenge this Marcus guy to a duel.
Yeah.
And then John's like, well, I thought that was made up. Like, no, it's a real thing,
Yeah. But you need to be part of a family, a crime syndicate family thing.
Yeah.
And apparently John was.
Yeah.
But he severed his bonds with them.
When he left the game, I think that's when he severed the bond with them. Yeah. And so he needs to go to Berlin to reclaim his family. So he goes to Berlin.
Yeah. And then this is where he goes to the church and he's like, I gotta speak to Uncle Peter, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, I'm gonna put our shotgun and shoot you actually.
And he goes flying.
Yeah. And then he finds himself in the gallows sort of thing with his adopted sister Katia. And this is where you're like, okay, John is clearly not part of this family biologically because they don't look, even though they're Russian or whatever they are.
They look stereotypically Russian.
Yeah, and he's half Hawaiian, half whatever he is, right?
He's a concoction.
Yeah. But all right. And they basically say, look, Uncle Peter got killed, right? And it was your fault because of his high table nonsense.
Yeah.
And John's like, look, I will kill the guy who killed Uncle Peter if I could get back in the high table. And they're like, why you want to do that? I mean, get to be back in the family.
Yeah.
And they basically said, he said, look, if I can be a family, I can challenge the Marcus to do this. And they're like, right, all right. You kill the guy who killed Uncle Peter. You give us evidence that you killed him, and we'll put you back in the high table. We put you back in the family. You can challenge for the high table. All right. And he's like, all right.
Sure.
So if you murder people for us, murder more people, you can come back to the family and murder even more people.
Yeah. Okay. That would make sense. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of does. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so John goes to another location. See, here's the thing, though. How does he go from location to location to location?
Oh, this one we don't actually know because he gets knocked out by Klaus.
Yeah. Oh, this is true.
It's true. And he's just there afterwards.
Yeah. But he goes places like, he flies across the world. Oh, no, he goes across the world. I don't want to say necessarily he flies or whatever. Maybe he does a Batman, take the boats or whatever. But it's just like, all right. He gets there, and that's that.
Yeah. No,
even there's at this point, 28, nearly 30 million bounty on him?
Yeah. So I was thinking this halfway through. I was like, so does he have like a plane? Or is it good plane? Or is there like some shady crime syndicate airlines where people just, it's obviously he probably has hookups as well, but it's like, yeah, okay, this is.
Well, I was just gonna say maybe the Bowery King has connections somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Get this man, who you do not know and have never seen, onto a boat that gets him into X location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So So he's at a night's club. He's like, yeah. Essentially, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you, but
yeah,
because you killed for Uncle Peter and Scott Atkins in this fat suit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Well, here's the thing: you got another dude over here who's after you, and then Donnie Yen kind of steps out from the shadows.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the tracker dude comes along as well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, now it's a party.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we do. We play a game. We play a game of 5-star poker here.
Yeah.
And what he goes, winner gets to choose what they want to do, because you want to kill him, and he wants to kill me. But I don't really want to deal with any of you anyways.
I'm too tired.
Yeah. So when we were closing up to his hands, by the way, dealing the cards, I thought something was up. But this was quite funny. Because John Wick got dealt Dead Man's Hands, which is 2 8s and 2 aces.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just quite. Well, clearly, it's been there's a hustle going on here, because he's the guy with the bounty on him. He's the dead man, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, that's
So,
funny.
yes. Then Donnie Yen gets a full house. No, does he get a full house?
No.
No, four nines or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Tracker gets a royal flush.
Yep.
And Scott Atkins just having it up.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's meant to be from. Somewhere in Europe, right? But
apparently
sometimes
Germany.
Yeah. Sometimes his English accent just cuts right through. Because he's like from a particular part of England where you're like, it sounds Cockney-ish at some points.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
But he's not from he's from Yorkshire, I think, or something like that.
It's like Midlands or something.
Yeah. So he starts flipping his cards over. Like he's got two, he's like one or two. He's got 1 2, then a second 2, then a third 2, then a fourth 2. And you're like, but how's it going to beat royal flush?
Yeah.
And then he flips another card over, and it's another 2. And then he has like, let me guess, 5 2s, right? Even though he's blind, because he's like, yeah, the hustle's going on here.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah. And then it's like, well, then I think John Wick gets one of his cards and does a gambit, and he throws it at Scott Atkins' neck.
Yeah, so it slices half his neck.
Yeah, and then he flips the table over, and then there's a fight going on.
Yeah. Awesome fights. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's where Scott Atkins is running through his nightclub. And notice where, all the people must be high as whatever they are, because, like saying, there's fights going on, right? There's sounds of gunshots going in from the back room. Okay, music pumping, right?
Yeah.
John Wick beating up people in clear areas.
Yep.
Like on the bridge or whatever it is, right? A walkway, whatever it is, yeah. And then he's throwing axes at Scott Atkins.
Yeah, axes, shooting him, all this stuff, and people are just like, yeah.
And then the thing is, like, when Scott Atkins started throwing punches, like, all right, fair enough. But then he throws a high kick in those fat suit, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was like, oh wow, this is where they're going with this. I was like,
yeah.
But dude just a minute ago had asthma. But all right, sure.
Yeah.
Like,
that's probably why he doesn't want to fight, not that he can't fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did roundhouses as well. I'm like, wow, Scott Atkins, man, you're cardio, man. But yeah, how he gets finished is amazing, right?
Yeah.
What is it? A drop kick or was it an enziguri, or what was it exactly?
I think it was a drop kick.
Yeah, he drops him, drop kicks him off a ledge somewhere, and he basically just gets spiked into the stairs.
Yeah.
Which was comedic and got a laugh as well.
Because his face died.
Yeah,
that's what it was. He was smiling. Like, oh,
yeah, his head should have got splattered though.
Yeah,
at that point. But his head's still perfectly shaped, by the way. But he should have got splattered right into that, like crunched up. but his neck was in his body.
Yeah,
which looked funny.
Broke his neck.
Yeah, then John Wick's still punching him in the face. I'm like, well, he's dead already, John. But no, John's trying to break his gold teeth so he can bring it back as evidence, saying, yeah, that I killed this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. John then gets branded with the Russian crest.
Yes.
Putting him back into the crime syndicate family. And then Winston goes to the Marquis and says, here's a formal challenge set by John Wick, who's now part of that Russian family, by the way.
Yeah.
Back into the fold. And he can challenge you to a one-on-one duel for his freedom.
Yeah. And
the Marquis says, yeah, but why would I accept these terms? Because it doesn't help me at all. I don't need to accept this. Well, obviously, you can't refuse the challenge. But here's the other thing, right? If you accept the challenge and you do kill John Wick, imagine what it would do for your reputation, you know?
Yeah.
Like, always playing the angles there. And then Marcus is like, yeah, but what's it do for you? Because you're his second, right? You do realize.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, yeah, I if John Wick wins the duel, I want to get my Continental back and rebuilt on your money, by the way.
Yep.
And reinstated as manager. So, yeah. And then but Marcus says, yeah, but if John Wick dies, and that's what I'm going to make happen, you will also die next to him because, that's what happens with the second. And Winston's like,
oh, yeah.
Such is life, all right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe I didn't think it through completely clearly, but all right. But, I guess I've already offered. I can't backtrack.
It's kind of like, you know what, I'm fully in at this point. I might as well just, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so they meet at a location in New York or somewhere like that to flip the things for the terms, right?
I think it's in New York because it's still in France.
Yeah, well, it's in Paris.
Somewhere.
No, is it? Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere.
No, it must be in Paris.
It would be in Paris, isn't it? Because it'd be weird.
Because this is the Berlin.
To New York. Yeah, so we'll say Paris. Makes sense.
Yeah, so for some reason it's very well managed at the high table because they've got tarot card block things, and whoever has the highest number gets to state the terms, and the challenger gets to state the terms first.
Yeah.
So he's like, yep, all right, location. I think, the Marcus is condescending towards John and all this during the talk. And it's like, dude, you need to shut your mouth because you're not just going to die.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to be a painful death. The more you talk, the more painful probably end up being.
Yep. You're just putting fuel onto this fire. That's going to be your murder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, they so John, so he's like, yep, location, Paris, what time? And he's like, basically sunrise. Marcus says sunrise, and he flips the card, and John says right now, and he flips the card, and then the Marcus says what Marcus higher.
Yeah.
So then they choose weapons. Marcus wants blades. John's like, nah, guns.
Guns, yeah.
Yeah, and so then John Wick wins that one. What was the other one? There was another term, right?
I can't remember because I can't remember at this point.
And I think this was like the exact terms and conditions of it.
Yeah.
And then John's like, then the Marcus is like, hold on a second. One last final thing. I don't have a nominee to take my place in the duel because I'm a punk. He doesn't say that, but it's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna fight like a man because I'm a coward. I'm gonna have Kane fight for me, even though he doesn't say that. But you get enough of the oomph of it, just like, I can't fight my own fight, essentially.
Yep, that's why Kane's here.
Yeah. And Kane's like, excuse me? No, he doesn't say that now. He's just like, yeah, okay, fine. So when John Wick leaves, right, Kane's like, you're an idiot. Yeah. You talk all this crap, right? You talk all this blabber nonsense, yeah? And you have to get someone else to do all your stuff for you.
Yeah, you could tell this is where Kane's kind of like giving up. He's not really bothered about it anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to leave.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then they're basically saying, oh, yeah, John, if you make it at sunset. And it's just like, oh, man. So you're telling me that the high table there, the Clancy Brown being the what's it called? Adjudicator, yeah?
Yeah.
And it's like, this man just basically threatened John Wick, and basically said, yeah, the rules from here to here, well, there are no rules. So I'm going to make sure he don't get there, because if he doesn't get it in time, he forfeits. Yeah. In front of the adjudicator, basically saying, I'm going to try and kill him and stop him getting there. And the adjudicator's like, shrug. Okay? Yeah. I mean, how can I tell this guy off? He's above me, right?
Yeah,
whatever.
Basically.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, I thought there were rules, but there ain't no rules.
No. It's rules when
Which I find, that's what I find kind of funny here. It's just like, yeah, whatever we say,
yeah,
we don't need to do.
We don't need to follow up with. So yeah,
I mean, but that's the thing. That's the whole thing that started all of this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sean gets. He takes it. Wait. So the Bowery King. Oh no! What's he? Yeah, he goes to the Bowery King to get a new suit. And they take Winston away, and they're talking about what if this is the end.
Yeah, if what's gonna end? What's gonna happen, and what do you like? Yeah. Basically, have you thought about if you die, what happens? And he's like, well, not really. I haven't thought that through. And then that's when he brings up about Lance Reddick's character. Winston brings up Lance Reddick's character being like his best friend, and he didn't know what to put on his tombstone, so he put best friend because that's what he was to the very end.
Yeah.
And then John just in thought, and then they're going on a speedboat through we're in a speedboat, but a boat.
Yeah.
And they make it to like the bit where John's got to get off, and that's when he goes on his tombstone. He wants loving husband.
Oh yeah. So the location. Basically, he needs to get to the church before sunset, but there's 12 hours or something at this point. And he's like the nearest location. That the nearest location to the church is where they dropped him off, which is not that near when you think about it, right?
Yeah. And especially because they knew that Marquise is gonna try and get him killed before he gets there.
Yeah. So Lawrence, the Bowery King gives John Wick a more pimped out suit, and also a gun which holds 21 bullets or something like that. Yeah,
lots of stuff.
Yeah. I thought he should have given him more more upgraded weaponry as well. That's flexible, but hey, I mean, man's got to fight the entire of Paris.
Yeah, all of it.
So the Marcus is like, yeah, I tell you what, we're going to up the contract to 40 million.
Yeah.
And so they go to the you seen the Warriors?
Yeah, of course.
So they go to the apparently the where the warrior the lady from the Warriors to speak on the radio about the assassination contract out on John Wick.
Yeah.
40 million. Let's see this one goes out to you, Mr. Wick.
Yep. You're out there.
And this is what you were saying earlier, where they he's walking down the street, and then these people just get up off their tables and go to fight him. I think in the cutting with this as well, where you see everyone's listening to the radio, and then when they hear 40 million, you see all these gangs get together, start putting their weapons, and then what different types of weapons, or they power up their cars, or the ones that shotguns that basically set people on fire. Yeah.
Yeah. It was insanity.
Yeah. So your bulletproof suit. But yeah, John basically has to fight a whole Paris.
Basically, get from one part of Paris to another, just fighting everyone and their mums. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's fighting across the streets as well. So he gets knocked over by a couple of cars that are trying to kill him, and as he's fighting people in the road, he's using wrist locks to throw them into cars. I was like, oh, you know what? Okay. Awesome. Carfu, yeah. All right.
It was amazing.
But yeah, it was quite inventive. I'm like, wow, some of these stuntmen.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how you do this.
I will have to say as well, during some of these fights, I think obviously he's in a suit and he does well. Whoever, if it's Keanu or the stuntman taking the bump, I think I saw like padding on the suit at one point. The stunt people padding.
Yeah.
The turtle shells and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, fair enough. Like, because you guys can't continuously take bumps like that. You have to have protection. Jeez.
Dead if you didn't. Yeah, sort of thing.
Yeah. So he murders like half of Paris around the Arc de Triomphe. He's going in circles as well, shooting everyone, and they, for some reason, I think some of these people have more greed than sense, because they're shooting at him, and he's taking one-shot kills, or in their head and stuff. They're blasting all over the place, and they can't seem to hit him.
Yeah, they're stormtroopers. Yeah,
exactly. But I will say as well, they're probably not trained as he is.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, so that's why I can buy him doing it, and that's the reason why he's feared.
Yeah, that's why.
Whereas, yeah, exactly. While these bunch of jabronis are just like, oh, the money, yeah.
Yeah, right. Just opportunists, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's fighting all of them, and he fights his way into a house, some sort of some sort of mansion area.
Yeah, abandoned house.
Yeah, and this is where he takes the flaming shotgun. Off the one, and you just like overhead, you see like video game blasting people.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I don't know if that entire sequence is done by Keanu or someone else, like a stuntman, because they could have just done it from that view. Didn't need him for it.
Yeah.
But it looked great. It was just like overhead view, bam, 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 bam. People set on fire, people doing backflips, people double tapping and all that stuff, and great stuff.
Something I feel like he possibly did do the stunts.
Yeah.
Or that bit anyway.
Yeah. Imagine how tired, by the way. He looked like one shot. Imagine how tired he must have been after that sequence.
Yeah.
Unless he did the Daredevil way, he was just out of the shot and his stuntman came in. And then they swapped out.
Yeah, or they filmed that scene like, hey, done for the day. Sort of thing, like, cause being tired after doing all that. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. So, yeah. Was it? No. Oh, okay, yeah, no, we just missed out a bit where Mr. Nobody's like, so he's there. He's in the house. John Wick's like shooting everyone down, and he calls to Marcus and says, I'm here." He's shooting the Marcus's people, some of the other gangs, right, to drive up the contract. And he's like, "Yeah, we've got John Wick in this house, Marcus. I could actually stop him getting to you right now. What are you gonna do for me?
Yeah.
After you shank my hand." And Marcus is like, okay, what do you want? He goes, "I'll raise the price to I think this is just like when it was like still 28 or something like that." He goes, 35. Yeah. And then the Marcus just throws his phone on the floor.
Yeah.
His iPhone or whatever it is, right? Because he's outraged here. And then he gets one of his servants to get him an old school dial phone.
Yeah.
And says, "You listen to me, nobody." And then nobody's like, 40 million just for being mouthy.
Yeah.
And then the Marcus is like, fine. So yeah, he's like, I think this is John Wick fighting the Marcus the main man at this point.
He comes at this point, and they start fighting.
Yeah. The dog comes along, bites him, right?
Yeah. And
then Nobody and John Wick have a grappling match.
Yeah. Which is, I was like, okay, that's a weird place to have a grappling match, but sure.
Yeah. And John Wick's choking him that out, right? And then you see the dog. I think, what's the dog doing? Yeah, I think he's staring at them. He's going to go and do something. Then he had to go and fight the Marcus main man again.
Yeah.
Dog's about to get shot, and John Wick basically shoots the Marcus main man.
Yeah, instead of letting the dog get shot, and that's when Nobody's like, "Oh, this John Wick is a good guy."
Yeah. Maybe this guy ain't so bad after all.
Yeah.
But why was I after him in the first place?
Because of money.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. Actually, I think this is just before this point, right? Where there's this afterwards where they go to. Oh, okay. So when they're firing around the Arc de Triomphe, Marcus's main man was also back there. This guy just keeps on coming, right?
Yeah.
And I think John Wick does a wrist lock, flips him into the car, and that's where he disappears for a little bit.
Yep.
And he comes back again for this sequence, yeah?
He comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, because he comes back here, and he comes back again later.
Yeah. So then John's like, got a motorcycle, and... Oh no, he jumps out of the building!
Yeah. We missed the motorcycle part. Yeah, because the motorcycle part was on the way to that building. Yeah.
Jumps out of this building, maybe 2 or 3 floors, crashes into a van, and then lands, and then kind of like go to the staircase.
Yeah.
To the whatever in Paris, the location.
35 steps staircase. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait a minute. If you fell out of that, right, you'd have been done there. You know.
Yeah. This is their world, you know.
Okay, so he's like looking up and going, "Oh, right, just got to get up the stairs, yeah." And then the lady on the thing is still talking. It's like, "Oh, everyone wants to meet, John Wick at the staircase of these, steps." And then people just like coming out of the shadows or somewhere like that.
Yeah, people
just stepping around like John Wick's like, and because he started going up the stairs and he started to sell being tired.
Yeah.
Now, as much as I like good action, right? There's nowhere to hide on these steps.
Nope.
So they're shooting at him, and they're missing. Or how's he done? I know he's putting his bulletproof suit up, but at the same time, you're like, when you have to reload, John, and you have to take your hand away or something like that. I think there should have been somewhere where he could have just been obscured a little bit.
Because it's just a bit where he like hide behind the trees and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Plus, again, but it's just like opportunists and not like greatly skilled people. So
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because logically, they have to just shoot in that narrow direction.
Yeah.
Except that, how's John Wick kind of hardly run up to them in his bulletproof suit and fight them all? Even when he's dealing with one person and people are shooting down at him.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's fighting his way all the way up there. He's selling it as well, like he's kind of tired and stuff like that. Gets to the top, like so got a couple of minutes to make it to the thingamajig. The wherever it is in Paris, right?
Yeah, wherever they got to meet for this duel. Yeah.
And then the Marcus main man appears out of nowhere. He's at the top there. Push kicks John Wick down a set of steps. Right?
Oh,
he's rolling all the way down. As he tries to get up, he gets push kicked down again, all the way to the bottom of the steps. So actually, as super serious this film has been as well, this got a laugh from me as well, because he just kept on rolling all the way to the bottom.
Everyone in my screen when I was watching it was laughing as well.
Like, it's just like, it's absurd. It's just absurd.
I'm like, wow.
And because he sells the frustration, that's all when he gets to the bottom, he's like, F and L. And then Donnie just reappears and he goes, John, I need you to get up. Look, you got time to make it? He goes, I got 2-3 minutes. Because, John, I need you to get up them steps right now with me. Come on.
Yeah.
And and then John Wick, John Wick already fighting half of Paris as well. Yeah. Seems to do most of the work.
Yeah.
Well, Kane, I mean, fair enough, he's blind, but at the same time, he's fresh. It's like, but you gotta make John Wick fight so much to get up them steps, right?
Yeah.
But then they had lucky for them as well, they got nobody helping them as well, because nobody switched sides now at this point. And nobody still gets his revenge on Marcus's main man by nipping him in the nuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the dog goes for the nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He finally dies after all that.
He's
dead. We don't actually know if he actually is, but
well, he got shot in the head. He got
shot in the head. Yeah,
for real. And then he got weed on by the dog.
Yeah,
which also got laugh on my screen.
Same. But I can't remember if it was a boy or girl dog. Like, if that's a girl's dog, I don't think they pee that way. But anyway, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, sure.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, John Wick's gonna forfeit, right? Wrong. Because then he appears and he's like, yeah, I'm here. Sunset, yeah, let's go.
But I did like how when he gets to the top, him and nobody are talking.
Yeah.
And then he says, and then nobody's like, he stabs him in the hand, doesn't he? And he goes, "Oh," and he goes, "Yeah, I owe you that." Like,
Oh no, Kane. You mean Kane? Not
Kane,
nobody.
sorry, not nobody. Kane, yeah.
It stabs the John in his good hand as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, nobody just getting his popcorn.
Yeah, and his beer sitting there.
But, yeah, I want to watch the duel. Yeah.
He was at this point. This is where he became the audience. Really,
yeah.
Like, he actually did become the audience. Yeah.
So the rules are they take their guns, one bullet. They walk 30 paces. They shoot. Then if they survive, then you get close by 10 paces and 10 paces again.
Yeah.
So Marcus is like he's become the second, and he's like giving Donnie the bullet to load the gun. He goes, "Remember you're doing it." Donnie just said F off him.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Like, good.
Yeah, so load the guns, they take shots, they clip each other, but they don't hit each other.
No.
They need to reload and walk 10 paces in, so they're 20 paces apart. Shoot again. They get each other in more vital areas, but not deadly areas.
Yeah.
So then 10 paces again. Kane shoots John Wick.
Yeah.
In his belly.
Yeah, like his abdomen, isn't it? Sort of.
Yeah. John Wick sells this, goes on the ground, and then Marcus is like, "Yeah, hold up. I want to finish. I want to take the like a true worm." He's like, "Yeah. I'm gonna pick up the pieces of this."
I call it coup de grace. Yeah, I'm gonna take the last shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donnie is like, "Yo, but my daughter's safe from the high table now, yeah?" And he goes, yeah, of course. Just give me the gun. Just give me the damn gun. I'm gonna finish this guy.
He goes, and I'm free from the high table too. Yeah, sure. Anything. Yeah. I'm finished.
just give me the gun.
Yeah. He's like, all right. You okay? Just making sure everyone heard that you said that. Sure. Right.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So he takes the gun, and then Winston's like, you arrogant son of a.
Yep. He's like, wait, what?
He goes, John never took his shot.
Yep.
And then Marcus like,
oh no.
Yeah. And then he basically gets shot in the head, and he just drops on the ground. Finished. Everything done, dusted, over.
But John said something. I can't remember to say. Does he call him an arsehole or something? I can't remember. He said something to him before he shoots him.
And Clancy Brown's like, "Oh well, a deal's a deal, right?"
Yep.
So, let's go, boys.
Yeah, literally like, I get to start my vacation now.
Yeah.
Let's get this over with.
Yeah. So John and Winston shake hands. John's like taking the steps down, sees the vision of his wife.
Yeah.
And just kind
he
of
says to Winston, "Make sure I get home, right?" And he's like,
"Yeah,
sure."
And then he falls over.
Yeah.
Now this is what I was thinking about in way earlier.
Mm.
When they negotiated, talking about the film Shane.
Yeah.
And how it's a cowboy film. He's on the horse at the end of the film, if I remember correctly, and then basically he kind of leans forward on the horse.
Yeah.
Like he's dead.
Yeah.
Or like he's really tired after the exerting whatever it was, all the other story. Yeah. And they're like debating whether he died or not in the ending, which because it's ambiguous.
Yeah. And
I thought, if they cut the film here, like John just basically leans over on the steps, then you don't know if he's just because, of all the damage he took, he's just or if he's actually dead.
Yeah.
Except there's an ending after this.
Yeah.
The Winston and the Bowery King are at John Wick's grave.
Yeah.
Loving husband on his grave. And they're talking about, do you think John is in heaven or hell? And then Winston's like, well, who knows, right? And I'm like, are we going to just see John Wick standing over there somewhere,
A Batman in it where he just... Yeah. He nods his head and then dun 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 dun, and he walks
yeah, exactly.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
But I was they concluded the story which made logical sense because it's like if this guy's alive in the world, right? How many more people is he gonna kill?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but no, I was like, okay. this makes sense.
Or does it?
Yeah.
Because he could still be. I still think he could be alive.
Yeah. I mean, it's less definitive because it's more like, yeah, he probably did die, but we never saw him get buried. So, and then at the end credits, Donnie Yen is walking to where his daughter plays the violin in public.
Yeah.
Wherever it is wherever it is in the world.
Yeah.
And you see Koji's daughter Akira pull out a knife to shank him in public or whatever she was gonna do.
Yeah.
And then then the film cuts in. That's how it ends. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is really smart because she disappeared like what 15 minutes into the film or something like that, half an hour.
Yeah.
And then it was like 2 hour block where you never saw her again, so you probably would have forgotten about her. Yeah.
I thought,
and logically speaking, if John Wick didn't die, because it would have been the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
You might have thought, okay, maybe they'll wrap something up in the in the next movie. But no, they kind of had to. No, they had to. But if they were going to do it, they were going to do it here.
I don't know
that end sequence. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know he said that he's he's up for doing another one.
Yeah.
So, or he's, I don't know, because I know they're making the 5th one, but it could be John Wick and not him in it. To be fair,
Well, they're making another one. The ballerina. Well, no, the ballerina. Like in part 3.
Yeah.
Where they had so they're doing a spin-off on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do believe it's with Ana de Armas.
Yeah. From
No Time to Die.
What?
You you remember the bit where Ana de Armas was in No Time to Die?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so they're doing a ballerina, and I'm saying probably from the action bit that she did in No Time to Die, they were like, all right, yeah, we can hire this, we get this lady to do our the ballerina spin-off of John Wick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know, specifically, but it's just like, well, she looked good doing the action sequences there, so,
Yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder how that's gonna work.
Yeah. Or they could, probably just do a spin. I'll just do a spin-off of Koji's daughter, Akira.
Well, yeah, I mean, that depends on how they're gonna do the what's it called? The TV spin-off, the Continental spin-off.
What I've read about the Continental, it's like an anthology sort of thing. So each episode's different. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's set before. So yeah, I'll be cool with Koji's daughter going to kill the High Table now because they kind of she could kind of get her revenge on them because they did basically.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. We'll see how that goes because they've got lore they can build. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Would you have liked to seen John Wick? Well, okay. They didn't definitively say he's dead.
No.
But yeah, maybe they. But if this is the final chapter.
If it's the final chapter, it's good.
Yeah.
Because
But I'm kind of glad they didn't call it the final chapter.
Nah.
Because then made it look like Then
they kind of would have gave the ending away if they called it the final chapter.
Yeah. Not only that, but if it wasn't the final chapter.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah. If that was the last one, I'm happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember I kind of said, he's gonna need to die at the end. So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, something's gotta happen, right?
Yeah, because if he didn't die, I'd be like, okay, then does he just keep going on till he murders everyone in the world? It's like, I
thought maybe he's just gonna kill the High Table and just be done with that, right?
Yeah.
But I don't even think they got to the High Table.
No, because I think killing the High Table. In saying it, okay, that'd be a cool thing, but then in theory, what then you leave a weird power vacuum in that world, sort of thing, innit? You kind of
Yeah.
It's kind of a necessary evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I guess it's one of those as well where John needs to get out of his situation. So after that, it's nothing to do with him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he could have murdered all the High Table and just let everyone else deal with all that stuff because he just wants that bounty off his head. Just wants to live his life, man. Leave the man alone.
Leave him be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, but all great stuff. I'm surprised they didn't hire someone more like the Marcus's main man. I don't want to say necessarily I was going to need to be a main name or something, but I was like, oh, why isn't Scott Adkins take that role? But I guess they wanted the surprise of someone who could do amazing stuff in a fat suit.
Yeah. Could have been weird if he was because the henchman, if you think about it, he's an afterthought sort of thing. Like Scott Adkins' character, the person he played, it sticks with you. The henchman's like, oh yes, that guy again. Yeah,
that dude who just kind of never gives up.
Yeah, I mean, you're like,
kind of invincible, just like John Wick's equivalent of Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So it's kind of a good thing.
Which I don't have it.
Yeah, I might be that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So you give it 2 thumbs up.
Yep. Yeah, and I think his greatest strength is it felt long.
No.
As crazy as it sounds, like it is a lengthy film, but it just like kept on moving so quickly. And you're always on John's side. It's not like becomes invincible action hero or whatever, right? It's just like, man, he's taking damage.
Yeah, and he just looks tired all the time from it. That's why I like.
And the Marcus just sitting there in his ivory tower, just going, looking down on all you jabronis.
Yeah,
I'm better than all of you. He just doesn't do anything.
Nope.
Physically, but just by mannerisms and posture and what's it called, how he carries himself. Just the hate, the hate.
Yeah.
Just absorbing it, getting powered by all the hate, embracing it, right?
Your hatred fuels me.
Yeah. Oh, what jokes!
When he died, I was so happy. But yeah.
Exactly, because his arrogance came out, and he just proves himself. Exactly why he's not worthy of his own position.
Yeah. So glad he died. So glad.
Cool, nice. All right, that'll be us signing off, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. So yeah. I'm the cool.
Yeah.
I forgot what Clancy Brown's thingamajig was. His title.
1 second, I can tell you.
But I'm the man who sets up all the deals and just be like,
Harbinger.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm the man who deals the bad news, sets up all the deals, and then when things fall through, I'm just like, all right, wrap it up. Let's go on our way.
Yeah.
Do you watch on?
It's like, I'm still alive. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
And I am the man who already has his tombstone written out that says King Kyle Charles. That's a callback to the Burrow King because he says that, I think. Yeah. And thank you for listening to us review Jonathan Wick Chapter 4. Have you seen it yet? Let us know what you thought of it. Did you enjoy it? Do you think this is a good way to end the series? Do you think John is dead? I don't want him to be, but if he is, I'm glad that
Just to point out, by the way, so when his name in that Russian family was Jordani Jonovich or something like that.
Oh!
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So,
John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you break it down, it was like, so how do we now that we've written this, how do we Russianize his name?
Yeah.
I think they're working backwards.
Yeah. That makes sense. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you enjoyed it. Are you sad that he left his new dog a orphan as well? That's what made me sad. I was like, oh, that dog's an orphan now. That's not cool. But yeah, let us know, and you can do that by leaving a comment in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can leave us a Instagram message, a tweet, all that lovely jubbly social media stuff. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends about us. And until next time, guys, thank you for taking a trip with us around the multiverse. Bye.
Bye.
Blue.